Okay, unless you have been living under a rock for the past week or so, you should all know that Hersheypark had arguably the worst operating week ever, and we all know that the week led up to the grand finale of bad luck with Skyrush's lift cable snapping, leaving the ride closed until further notice. This past week has been completely awful for the park, and I was fortunate enough to be at the park or have someone there every day last week filling me in on what was going on throughout the entire week. It started out on Monday when a friend started to text me saying that Skyrush was running great and didn't have much downtime. The only problem was that it opened around an hour and a half late with the rest of the park. On Tuesday, Skyrush experienced a lot of downtime as another one of my friends was filling me in on every time the ride broke down. She filled me in saying that they only got 2 rides on it while the ride broke down about 3 times. Now on Wednesday, I went to the park and Skyrush was running absolutely fine, mid-morning and midday. I was able to get 4 back row rides on Wednesday until about 3:30 when we were headed up to Great Bear. I thought Skyrush was stuck at the base of the lift hill, but it turns out it was just crawling up the lift hill at a whopping 3 miles an hour. I whipped out my phone really quick because I knew if I said this, no one would believe me. Thank God Snapchat was the last app I was on and the train was traveling so slow, I started to record the train when it was about 1/4 of the way up the lift hill. When the front of the train passed the first support, the lift sped up just a little bit, but not by much. Once the train passed the 3/4 mark, the lift slowed down to an even slower crawl than before. While Skyrush's 18-mile-an-hour cable lift can get trains up and over the lift hill in about 15 seconds, this train took about 28 seconds to crest the first drop, which is about 2 times slower than normal. Watch the full video for yourself and tell me what you think in the comments section down below. Skyrush's lift hill moving at a normal pace? What? Holy crap. It's so slow. What in the world? So immediately after this odd malfunction, Skyrush shut down with maintenance checking every part of the lift and then sending test trains. Now at this point on Wednesday, no one knew what was happening and I started to speculate what was going on. I originally thought the lift motor overheated because Wednesday it was a whopping 97 degrees and falling fast. No, I'm just kidding. This is no time for a joke. Anyway, like I was saying, it was 97 degrees out that day and the weather app said it was going to feel like it was 107 out. I thought because of the extreme heat this could have been the problem, but I was really wrong. Fast forward a day later and I go back to the park to get some lunch at the Chocolatier. Skyrush was flying up the lift hill and absolutely killing its layout. I was super happy to see this out of the big windows in the Chocolatier, but unfortunately I was not able to go on the patio and record footage, so you'll just have to take my word for it. Okay, so it's Friday, right? My 2 cousins are at the park. They get 2 rides on Skyrush. Meanwhile, I am golfing and then going swimming. They start blowing up my phone and about 35 minutes after the evacuation happened, I posted this short. Okay, so Skyrush had another terrible day today, you guys. This is what happened. So you remember a few days ago when I posted this video, Skyrush's lift hill absolutely crawling? Well, today you guys, Skyrush got absolutely evacuated, like full on evacuated. They had to remove every single person from the train, and this is what happened. I'm at the pool, but like, wait, you're telling me that Skyrush got evacuated today, guys?
Yes, they had to like strap them onto the thing and they had to walk down the whole ride. It was really, and then it's pouring.
And she also said that it was absolutely pouring, so everything shut down. But what does this mean? I mean, like, all these rides were closed for an entire year, so I guess that's what happens when everything's closed. I mean, this is what COVID does to a ride. And, oh yeah, the reason why Fahrenheit was closed, apparently one of the drive tires exploded. So, yeah, I definitely need to make a full video on this, you guys. There's more to talk about. Yeah, subscribe. That's right, I've been making Skyrush updates since Wednesday and was one of the first ever people to post evacuation footage to YouTube. I posted the first video about 42 minutes after the accident happened, and too bad I am still such a small channel as more people could have seen these updates within 15 minutes as they happened. Anyway, my 2 cousins were keeping me updated until I received this picture and a comment from another viewer on a video telling me that the lift cable snapped on Skyrush. Within 8 minutes of this news being broken to me, I posted the 4th and final Skyrush short of last week telling everybody that the lift cable on the coaster had snapped. Right after this video went up, my phone started blowing up with DMs and snaps from other coaster enthusiasts and friends as we all tried to figure out what was happening. As time passed, more and more people started to speculate on the same thing. The cable lift snapped. Okay, I know the video is just about to get good, but I want to make one thing clear. The first half of this script was written a day after all this happened on Saturday. At that time, no rumor was wrong or outdated. Also, I just lost respect for all of you who just went down to the comments section just to tell me the cable lift didn't snap. You clicked on a video called Skyrush, the full story. What did you think you were gonna get? Anyway, for the rest of you who kept watching the video to see what else I have to say, I want to say thank you for not being shallow. Alright, number 2. All this is just speculation and I'm doing all this for fun. No theory will be wrong until proven wrong. That's legit a part of the definition. Okay, last but not least, Hersheypark did not comment on Skyrush or any of its current situation at time of recording. With this being said, I will not exclude any theory or deem it wrong, and also please don't tell me how your inside source told you all this about Skyrush, because if you're going to play that card, I'm just going to say this. Milton Hershey's my dad, alright? Alright, sorry about that guys, I just feel like I need to make that clear. But now we can finally get into the good stuff. The speculations on my theories on this. So we all know that Intamins are super unreliable, and when Skyrush was closing and then opening late earlier in this week, I thought it was just for that reason. It wasn't until Wednesday when I really started to suspect something was wrong with the ride. That's when I got the video of the cable lift crawling. Now at this point I started to speculate a few different things. The first and most plausible thing would be the lift motor overheating. On this day it was approximately 98 degrees like I said, but it felt like it was 107. It stayed this temperature for most of the day and the humidity was very consistent. Watch this short I made coming off a Storm Runner. I look extremely hot and sweaty. 5 rides later on, Storm Runner got massive coaster hair. But front row, best, slightly prefer it over back. Sorry Candemonium, that's now number 2. That's for sure number 2 in the park. I'm so glad to have it back. That's crazy. This was midday at like 11:30 or so, and that just proves that the heat was no joke that day. Skyrush was operating ever since 10 a.m. and with the heat getting worse, it's pretty understandable for me to speculate that the lift motor overheated. Same with I-305, Skyrush's lift hill only has one speed and that speed is really fast. And since the coaster always stacks trains, there was no reason for the lift hill to be moving that slow, and that's why I believe we see the speed of the lift start to speed up and then slow down again. I think the coaster's computer tried to correct itself, but with the stress on the lift motor due to heat, it shut the ride down for the rest of the day. Maintenance spent the rest of the day at Skyrush sending occasional test runs, with the ride closing at approximately 3:30 p.m. and the entire maintenance team arriving at approximately 3:45. They worked on Skyrush from 4 o'clock to like 8 o'clock, possibly even later than that. I would believe that they did a full inspection of Skyrush and an incredibly thorough inspection of the lift hill because that's where the coaster had experienced difficulty. My question is, how did the maintenance team not see Friday's incident coming? If they inspected Skyrush to the full extent because of malfunction this major, you would think that they would be able to predict this happening. And maybe they did, but they just couldn't repair it in time, or they couldn't stop it or something. I don't really know. The only way they could possibly not predict this was if the problem was with one of the trains, but we'll get into that in a minute. Theory number 2, the cable lift snapped. Now I know that this is outdated and mostly everyone has moved away from this theory, but I haven't. Like I said earlier, I'm not excluding any theory, but I do think that this one is the least likely of all the theories. For a while this was by far the most popular theory up until Sunday when a couple enthusiasts said that their inside source at Hershey confirmed that the cable lift did not snap. While I'm not saying I don't believe them, I just like this theory and I kind of want to speculate it on a little more just for fun. So don't get too mad at me in the comments section. So, witnesses to the incident stated that there were 2 loud cracks in the crash. Now, I think it's okay to confirm that the crash was the catch car crashing into the station, but what about the 2 other cracks? I think that the first crack came from the cable breaking somewhere near the top of the lift hill. I think that the second crack could have come from 2 places, the lift motor or this thing that feeds the cable back to the lift motor. I think that the second crack could have been the newly formed tension that came from the other half of the broken cable. Skyrush's trains create a lot of tension on the cable, and the cable is still able to get the train to 18 miles an hour on the lift hill. Imagine the cable snapping and the tension from the train leaves the half of the cable that isn't broken. I think the lift motor would pick up speed and the cable would create a new tension, or it would crash somewhere, giving us our second crack. Alright, I'm done speculating on a rumor that's pretty much dead, so let's move on. But another very similar theory could be that the catch car detached from the lift cable. If this happened, then the first cracking noise would have come from the catch car detaching from the lift cable. The second snap would be the lift cable hitting the trough, which keeps the cable in place. Then the crash would be the catch car crashing into the station, which is what I said in the last theory. It is easier to predict what made the noises, and people have already confirmed that the cable didn't snap. So anyway, let's just talk about the trains. So I do think that this theory is the most far-fetched theory, and it was the one that took me the longest to come up with and comprehend. What if the problem was not with the cable at all, but with the train? Okay, hear me out. What if the train had trouble attaching to the catch car? As soon as the train pulled up out of the station, the ride sensors picked this up and e-stopped the ride. E-stop is an emergency stop. I think that when the ride e-stopped, there was still so much slack on the cable that the catch car pulled down on the rest of the cable, causing the crash and cracking noises. So if this was the case and the problem was with the trains, this would be the best scenario for the ride. This means that one train would be faulty while the other one works just fine. The faulty train would most likely go into rehab and get the repairs it needs done to it. Now, since this video has been posted, it's only been about a week since this incident happened, and the park themselves are probably also trying to figure out what happened too. Hence why we haven't gotten any comments from Hersheypark and the condition of Skyrush. If the train was the problem, then Skyrush could have potential to open up with only one train for the rest of the season. While I don't mean to get your hopes up, but if this were the case, I think Hershey would make it their biggest priority to get their biggest thrill coaster back open. This theory just isn't as plausible as the rest, because I think the ride would already be back open if this were the case. Alright, so that wraps up all the major theories that I have, but I do want to say one more thing. The most likely cause of all the problems with Skyrush is with the lift hill. And well, you know what just opened up? The Skyrush path. And what's right above the Skyrush path? The lift hill. Alright, if you don't know what I'm trying to say, I'm just going to tell you loud and clear. I can almost 100% guarantee you that the Skyrush path will close at some point. It sucks that it just opened and it now might close at some point. But for whatever reason it doesn't close, let's just count our blessings and don't come at me for being wrong. So that about wraps up this video about our beloved problematic hypercoaster. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like and share this video with your friends. I spent around 10 hours brainstorming, research, writing, and producing this video, so it would mean the world to me if you could leave a like and share this to one of your friends, which would only take a few clicks and 10 seconds of your time. How about this? If you share this video and leave a comment telling me what the other person thought, I might feature you on my podcast, Coaster Talk. There's no doubt about it, I am the only one who has gone this far into what is happening with Skyrush. No other enthusiast has posted as many updates as me or has gone in depth as me, so it would mean the world to me if you could show your support. Last but not least, today's shout out goes to Hersheypark Coasters. If you want a shout out, leave a comment down below, and if I like it, I'll be sure to feature you in my next video. Anyway, you guys, thank you for all the recent support this channel has been getting. It's been crazy, and I love you guys so much. This all happens because of you, and I can't thank you guys enough.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground! You underestimate my power! Don't try it!